What is up, everybody? My name is Christoph. Alongside me is Breanna. We are here to tell extra normal stories for these abnormal times. How are you, Breanna?
I'm great. Ready for Christmas.
Are you ready for this?
And you know what?
The Christmas. Do you have the Christmas spirit?
You make it feel like Christmas.
Thank you, I think.
Why do you think?
I don't know. Because that dripped of sarcasm. Anyways, you're good. You have the Christmas spirit.
Yeah. I'm wearing green.
You're wearing green.
And
where's your red?
I got my hot cocoa. Ow, it's burning me. I'll pull it up in a minute.
You lost your Christmas spirit because your cocoa burned you.
I
want to ask you something, though.
It's a pink Santa, first and foremost.
It is a pink Santa. I got to ask you something. What's the first thing you think of when you hear the word Christmas? First word thing that comes to mind. First event, first
Santa.
Thing. Santa? You could slurp a little louder into the microphone too.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, some people are into that.
Yeah.
I'm sure some people in the live stream are like.
The reason why I'm asking you is because we are going to be talking about everything that is associated with fucking Christmas that has nothing to do with Jesus Christ and is actually circles back to pagan rituals, like through and through, like everything pre-Christ was essentially a lot of what we do for Christmas was just basically a sales pitch to get all the pagans on board with Jesus Christ.
Did you know, you want a fun fact about paganism?
Sure.
Do you know that technically Egyptians are pagan?
Don't they just lump everybody who's like non-Abrahamic religion to paganism? Like if you're not like Christian, Jewish, Arab, like Muslim, then
you're pagan.
You're pagan, right? Isn't that the deal? Don't they just lump
I think
everybody?
Because
let's look up the definition of paganism.
I think too because typically they want to they connect the fact.
Yeah.
What?
It's just a fucking catch-all. The definition of pagan is a person holding religious beliefs other than those of the main or religious recognized religions. What are the official recognized religions? The fuck?
Yeah, because I feel like Buddhist is a
does
recognized.
That count?
No, that's a recognized religion, right? So they're not considered pagans. But it's more like if you believe more in like elements and
it's just a catch-all
gods
for
and
everything
goddesses.
that's not
and I mean, I guess the Romans before they became Catholic, they were pagan.
That's correct.
The Greeks and the Egyptians as well.
They were lumped in there. Germanic, Norse mythology is lumped in paganism. The Celtic, paganism is a religion back in the day is lumped in pagan. All this shit's lumped in paganism. Mm-hmm. So when we say paganism, it's basically Christianity stealing, because without pagan beliefs and partydom, for lack of a better word, like Christmas would be pretty fucking boring. Like,
true.
Let's take what you said, jolly old Saint Nick, right? When we think about Santa Claus, we think about Coca-Cola, big jolly old elf with a big red suit, a big old beard, and his hat and everything. Well, mainly the idea of Santa Claus partially came from Saint Nicholas, who was a saint. And by the way, did you know he was the saint? What was Saint? We always think about him being the patron saint of children, right? He was like gave gifts to. Well, apparently there's a catch-all because Saint Nicholas is the patron saint of sailors, merchants, archers, repentant thieves, children, brewers, pawnbrokers, unmarried people, and students in various cities. So he's also, I saw also that he's the patron saint of sex workers too.
Well, I mean,
so if you see a picture of,
I like that there's no judgment with him.
Jolly old Saint Nick, he's also helping out.
He doesn't really look jolly.
He's helping out the prostitutes. That one's not. I'm sure that the actual Saint Nicholas wasn't like
chubby.
He wasn't chubby, and he wasn't probably like a bowl full of laughs every 5 seconds. Can you please stop that? You gotta stop that.
It's warm.
She doesn't realize it's an audio podcast.
Fuck off.
Yeah. But yeah, so whenever
okay,
you
well, let's talk about his outfit. Did you talk about what he wore?
he wasn't the whole red fucking shit is from Coca-Cola. That's when we think of a red Santa, that's all from Coca-Cola. And actually a lot of what we think of Santa Claus is circles back to Odin. You know, the Norse god who I'm obsessed with now that I've fucking as most people have plowed through fucking God of War. He was a lot of what we think of as Saint Nick comes from Odin, because Odin would come in his not a sleigh. There is some mythology around Odin and his sleigh, but he would come with this giant reindeer. Right? Does this sound familiar? You come flying on Christmas time because Christmas was stolen. The day was stolen from Pagan, the actual date, because religious scholars actually believe that Jesus was, if you can date it somehow, that he was probably born in spring, right? Yeah. Nowhere near Christmas because of the shepherds and stuff like that. They think that the timing, shepherds wouldn't be floating about in fucking in the middle of winter, like in the heart of winter.
Right.
So the date was stolen, and around that, I think December 24th, Odin would come flying around the villages to appease Odin. The children would put up stockings. They would put up their booties, and they would leave carrots and vegetables for the reindeer, Odin's giant reindeer. In return, Odin would fill their stockings with little presents. Oh
my gosh, that's cool.
So Santa Claus is basically
it's weird
a
how
pagan
how
idea.
It like merged to like Saint Nicholas was the guy, but then Odin was okay. Well, the story that I was always told, like the origin story of Santa, was he was a real living man in Germany that would go around to like mostly like orphanages and stuff and leave presents and things for children. And I always thought that is how it started. I didn't realize it came from like mythology. it's a mission, especially now it's a mishmash. So they took Saint Nicholas, who was an actual guy, he was an actual saint who gave out gifts and stuff like that. And it's merged. And by the way, I did look it up. The name of the reindeer is Sleipnir, who Odin would ride on. You know how many legs the reindeer would have? 6.
It was that 8-legged reindeer. Isn't there 8?
Spider.
Isn't there 8 legs or 8 reindeers in the?
Oh.
So it's just a mish. Santa Claus is a mishmash of all this pagan stuff and all this and a guy who in Christianity was a saint, who was a real person, who was kind of generous. So it was just this mismatch. And what we see as Santa Claus and all the pictures, that's just commercial fucking branding. That's Coca-Cola. Like that is, other than the fact that Saint Nicholas and Odin had a long beard, like they didn't really look like they weren't definitely as plump and jolly as jolly old Saint Nick we see now. What is the second thing you think of? The second thing that comes to mind when you think of Christmas?
Jesus.
That you stumbled on the only thing that Christmas is about. So whenever you see anything related to Christmas, the only thing that you could see on a lawn that is actually Christmas is that fucking nativity scene. And even then, it's not time accurate.
It's not time accurate. Yeah,
not
I was
at
going
all.
to say that's not his birthday.
Not at all. You should throw up your nativity scene in spring.
Why did they decide to do it in the winter then?
It was a pitch. Completely a pitch. Because all these different pagan religions there was solstice. Like there was Germans celebrated, around Christmas time. They would burn 12 days of Christmas. Some of the Germanic people would during winter, because you couldn't really go out and the livestock would die. So they would slaughter all the cows, all the cattle they had, and they would have a giant feast. And the men would go out and find a giant log and they would burn it and it would usually last around 12 days, and they would feast. This sounds like Christmas dinner, right? They would feast because they had to get rid of all this meat because the cows weren't going to survive, so they had to slaughter. So they had these giant
refrigerators.
Feasts. They did not. So they would have these giant feasts and parties and celebrate. And one of the things they would do is when we think of Christmas, what do we think of Christmas when we think about fucking plant life?
Plant life.
Like when we think about what we do to decorate, that is, it's synonymous with Christmas, right?
Yeah.
Christmas trees.
Yeah.
Pagan.
Oh yeah. Through
and through. It's not only pagan in the Germanic tribes where they would put in mushrooms and stuff like that, but it was also very much very similar in Roman culture. Have you ever heard of Saturnalia? Mm-mm. So that was a Roman holiday that
just because I'm Italian doesn't mean I know that shit.
During Saturnalia, they would decorate Christmas trees, but it was more like what we would do because the season was much more. The weather was much more favorable in Rome, so they would put on ornaments and stuff for Saturn.
So I know with pagans, was it the same with like Romans as well? Like, because I know different pagans from all over the world do things a little bit differently. I had always heard that they didn't really have trees in their houses. They would just like have like a tree out in the wilderness.
That's right.
And then they would put dried out mushrooms, and that would be like their gift too. They would decorate the trees with the mushrooms. They
would be, so a lot of in Rome they would be more ornamental, and they would have the various decorations like fruits and stuff because the seasons were better. They didn't really they utilized the trees that were in front of their abodes, as it were. But they definitely decorated. One other thing what's another thing that we're just going to go down the list and we're going to knock out everything that you can think of for Christmas. It's a big one. If you don't get one, you're going to be furious.
So it has to be big? Like something. It
doesn't have to be big. It could be big or small. Name another Christmas tradition that you can think of.
Stockings? We already covered that.
Stockings are covered. That's pagan.
We have Jesus, Christmas trees, stockings.
You're missing a big one. Presents. Pagan.
They used to give each other presents? I thought the mushrooms were the presents.
So during Saturnalia, the mushrooms weren't. So in Rome, they would, for good luck during the winter, because again, we're talking about winter solstice. You're trying to, during the coldest month, you're trying to give almost sacrifice and presents and stuff to make a good year when spring comes around. The Romans would practice gift giving. They would give gifts to, and obviously we talked about how Odin would deliver gifts, but they would literally exchange gifts in Rome. Before Christianity, they had this big tradition where they would give kids gifts and good luck and all that stuff.
Oh, I love that.
To celebrate, to give good luck for a new year and all that stuff.
And this was one day, or was it like?
It was multiple days. So it was
like,
multiple days.
And Christmas Eve.
Because Christmas was such a made up. It's a made up holiday centering around Jesus' birth. So Christmas has always fluctuated. Some people in early Christianity, they give gifts right before New Year's. They didn't give gifts on December 25th. In some, as you know, in some cultures, because that was around when the wise men showed up, was around New Year's. They didn't show up on the day. They would also, like, it was sometimes Christmas, like, depending on the culture, was a 12-day event. And sometimes, and so Saturnalia was more like that. It was like a week-long, 12-day-long event where they would give gifts. They would decorate Christmas trees. Not Christmas trees. They would do Saturnalia trees to celebrate Saturn, who was the god of the sun, right? And it's all centered around the sun, S-U-N, not S-O-N. So it was a conversion from S-U-N for a lot of these pagan religions to S-O-N, right?
Wow.
In Christianity. What's another thing you think of in Christmas? We're going to roll down the fucking list.
Candy canes.
Candy canes?
Are not on the list.
They're not on the list. What about mistletoe?
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
So mistletoe was also part of Roman tradition. And that was the reason why we kiss under the mistletoe, because it's like a PC version of the fertility rituals that the Romans would celebrate under mistletoe. Because One of the
They
things
were doing some kinky shit.
they would be doing some kinky. It is mistletoe. Like as awkward as it is and as creepy as most guys are around mistletoe, it was even creepier during Roman times where like.
Now, did they have like plants of mistletoes or something? Is it like catnip? Like where it makes you...
I don't think it has any... The reason why mistletoe was in a lot of pagan rituals. Like it was seen as a... There's no studies that show it actually has any effects on human. I'm pausing for the...
I did it.
You did good.
When it was hot.
But there's no actual like... I haven't seen the mistletoe has any, but it was used a lot in rituals. Mm-hmm. And you'll see that a lot of it like evergreens and furs and stuff like that for plants are around because they last through the winter. So it's like a symbol of everlasting life through the winter. Mistletoe was one of those. So it had a lot of strength in the minds of Romans and pagans as having this powerful symbolism. So mistletoe is just basically when you see mistletoe and everybody's like, Merry Christmas, kiss me on the... You could think about Romans just fucking under...
Oh my God.
Under a bridge somewhere. Mistletoe... Stolen.
Is there more?
You ever gone Christmas caroling?
Don't even.
You ever gone Christmas caroling?
Yeah.
So Christmas caroling they think that a lot of it centered around two different things. Wassalia, which was a pseudo-Christian practice and stuff like that. And also the...
Wait, I just had a epiphany. That show that Clementine used to watch.
Wassalia, that's what they were referencing, yeah.
What the heck?
Let me look at the exact definition of Wassalia. And also, too, during pagan times, it was crazy because it had a lot more. So Christmas caroling has a lot of roots in pseudo sort of Halloween type of things because the pagans believed that the spirit world was very open during winter solstice. So there would be roaming groups of carolers who would go house to house to sing to ward off the evil spirits. And they would be given ale as a almost like a thank you, as a tip for warding off evil spirits during winter solstice.
How do you sing off? Is it like just special words that you chant? Like,
I mean, how do you?
Like a prayer in a sense?
They were like prayers. Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
So you could think of it almost in Christian terms, like an exorcism, right? It was a group exorcism. You go to a door, you sing a song, and they would say, "Thanks for not letting my creepy old dead uncle in," like during winter solstice. Hopefully. And we think of carols as this long tradition in Christian religion, but it didn't really flourish until the 19th century as a thing. So,
but
Christmas
it had been
carols,
going on this whole time.
Pretty much pagan, right? Wow. They've been stolen from pagan religion. So now
I'm so blown away.
So now we've cut out Christ from the decorations, from the song. We all know this song. Most Christmas songs, especially now, have nothing fucking to do with Jesus Christ, right? It's about like gifts,
There's
pagan.
very few.
Christmas trees, pagan. Sleigh bells, pagan. It's all pagan songs. So anybody who says we need to bring Christ back into Christmas, you just need to go to church. Don't give me any Christmas trees. Just go to church. That's all you have. That's not fucking stolen.
Yeah.
And this was all a Christian marketing campaign to get pagans on board. Like they wanted to get them signed up. So they borrowed a lot of that stuff.
Oh my God.
Yeah. When you look through the list,
I don't even know how to feel right now. Because I knew a few, but I'm just like speechless.
There's not much you have left that's not pagan. You know, it's just a lot of the things they did were pagan-esque. The decorations, everything is basically a pagan tradition centered down. And so, you know, and I think most people, I'm going to go on a limb, even the you Christian folks, celebrate Christmas as a pagan holiday, right? How often do Christians go to church during Christmas? Not any more than they usually would. If they're going every Sunday, they're still going every Sunday, right? There's nobody who's like, I go every Sunday, but let me go 3 times a week this year. Like,
Right.
it's more Christmas
If
trees,
anything,
it's more
they might
carols, it's
go
more
on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day.
yes.
That's like the one extra time a month they'll be going.
And that almost centers back to pagan again, because you're warding off the evil spirits before Christmas. You're kind of exercising your Christmas, not demons, but it's just kind of a ritualistic
the family
thing.
demons that you have to go fucking put up with.
Yeah.
Bah humbug.
Bah humbug. Have I ever asked you? I don't think I've ever asked you. Sorry, tangent. What's your favorite Christmas movie? I don't think I know.
Meet Me in St. Louis. You already know that.
Oh, that's right. You told me that fucking garbage movie.
It is not garbage.
That's not a Christmas. Can we talk about Christmas movies that are not a Christmas? Because
it is a classic.
15 minutes of it are in Christmas.
Judy Garland is singing "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas." She fucking owned that song. She made it her own.
That's a great song for a Christmas song, as Christmas songs go.
So yeah, don't. But it's. I mean,
wasn't there 15 minutes about making ketchup? I'm pretty sure there was 15 minutes about how to make ketchup.
Like the elements of that movie. It's the turn of the century, and
the houses are cool.
I mean, and then they go.
I like the Halloween.
The
Halloween is pretty cool because it's like the creepy old Halloween where they're just
they go through
fucking with old
all the
people.
seasons. They even go through like Easter but the Christmas scene. Yeah, there's something about the holidays where I always have to watch that movie.
But that's not. Is that a Christmas movie?
And you fall asleep. It's considered. Me and my grandma would usually only watch it around Christmas time.
Are we wading in on the controversial waters too of deciding whether Nightmare Before Christmas is a Halloween movie or a Christmas movie?
I think it's a Christmas movie.
You think it's a Christmas movie? I think it is a Christmas movie too. But it's most played during Halloween. People usually, it's around during Christmas, but people usually associate.
I didn't grow up watching that because my mom was so religious. So, me and my brother were actually just talking about this. Like, it was never one of those things that was like, I don't know. My mom, I don't know if she didn't want it in the house or she didn't understand it, but it wasn't until like my 20s when I saw it for the first time.
I saw that movie. So the 2 movies that shaped me in a big bad way, like in terms of a turn, right? Like from going from Aladdin's to like growing up and kind of what led me to like, what was my gothic roots? What led me into the macabre was one, I saw Nightmare Before Christmas when it came out in theaters. My dad took me and I was blown away. Like it shaped everything.
How old were you when you?
Whenever it came out.
Came out in the 90s, right?
I don't want to date myself, but I think I was 8 or 9. Let's see when it came out.
Wow, no.
When was it?
Not. I don't even
1993. So I was.
I don't want to say I was alive, or obviously I was alive. I just wouldn't say I was allowed.
We were 11.
I wasn't allowed, probably.
But I was a little.
But I don't even remember like when it even came out. Honestly, like I don't know. Was it the same year like all those other Disney movies came out?
I think it was the same year as. When did Aladdin come out? Hold on.
Oh yeah, I was like completely enthralled with Aladdin, so that probably.
Aladdin came out in 92, so a year after Aladdin. So that would have been. What was after Aladdin? Was it Pocahontas? Pocahontas was probably around the time as.
Didn't Lion
1995.
King? What about Lion King?
We're gonna look this up. We're gonna find out in 1994. So there was just no movie in 1993 because it was Aladdin and then Lion King.
And then before that was The Little Mermaid.
Little Mermaid. Before that was Beauty and the Beast. This has been your Disney Chrono.
You're welcome.
No, but
so I don't remember. Like, I don't remember seeing commercials for it. I don't remember seeing it in theaters. I don't remember seeing merch. I don't remember seeing the book anywhere. Like, me and my brother, I don't know how I missed that because we loved Halloween. Obviously, we love Christmas too. So it's weird.
Yeah, it's weird, and also too,
I'm almost jealous that your dad took you to go and see that because
it was it shaped me in a way, a lot of the way, because also too it was
to see it on the big screen
at the moment it happened, and also the fact that it was essentially a children's movie but not a children's movie, and I was past the point of, I love Aladdin, I love Lion King, but I was past the point where I was like obsessed with like cartoons, right? So it was this weird transformative thing where it was like almost like an art piece in terms of like it was like this twisted children's film that wasn't really meant for children, but wasn't really meant for adults, and it was in this weird nether realm of creativity.
And it's, in a sense, it's similar to the Grinch when you think about it. Like there's elements of the Grinch where I'm like, oh, the Grinch steals Christmas, and you have Jack Skellington, the Pumpkin King, that steals Christmas. Mm-hmm. So like there was definitely, like, as a young adult watching it for the first time, it was very much like I just correlated them together, and it made sense why it was so big.
Yeah, and also too, for like as a, like psychoanalyzing Jack Skellington. This is what this episode's turning. But he was one other thing that shapes a lot of people, I think, from rooting for Jack Skellington, is he was well intentioned, right? As opposed to the Grinch. Like he wanted to make Christmas because he was tired of his rut, right? And in his own head, where he came from was normal and boring, even though like it's this crazy Halloween fantasy world. He wanted something new, and he was trying to create something new for himself, and he was well-intentioned. So a lot of people rooted for Jack Skellington in that way.
Yeah.
And also to merge like kind of the monotoneness of not only Christmas, but Halloween. Like if you look at Christmas, like let's talk about it. Like speaking of these pagan religions, and do you ever, like, I might find myself growing tired of a lot of like holiday iconography.
Yes.
Like, are you tired of fucking Christmas trees?
There's
and
elements
candy canes
about
for
Halloween
everything?
that I'm tired about, and then there's elements of Christmas that I definitely am tired about. Like it's always, like, for me, I'm always like, I think that's why I've always been into my pink stuff, but that's why, like, I wanted to really like showcase a pink Halloween in my version, in my head, and my imagination.
Are you going to do a black Christmas now?
Of, well, I do have a black Christmas tree at the salon.
That's true.
But, and then, for Christmas, yeah, like having like making it a pink Christmas. And so I have all my own elements, so I don't feel like I'm stuck in that typical everybody's uniform, buying the same stuff. Everybody's into like that weird, like rustic, kind of
old
kind of
sleigh rides,
Christmassy kind of look that you can buy at Target. It's everywhere. And so I do like to do some homemade things that I know no one else will find, and more intricate. So then when I see my decorations, I feel like it's new, because it's new to me. It's not the same old thing.
Yeah, and there's a lot of if you look beyond, if you embrace, like we're talking about paganism and Christmas, if you embrace the paganism of Christmas, it can be very interesting. Mm-hmm. And it can also be very dark. I mean, we're talking about winter solstice, the shortest day of the year, so the longest night. It also marks like the middle of winter. It also marks in a lot of ancient religions when the spirits were at their height, when the world was open to spirits, right? And also the dark part of Odin, who if you were out, also I didn't mention, but if you were out when Odin was flying around, you might not make it back home because he could take you. And we're talking, and also we didn't.
Wait, he'd be doing nice things for people, but then be taking people with him.
It's a different kind of naughty and nice list. Like
so he was a little bit of Krampus and jolly old Saint Nick.
Yeah, Odin was seen as like Odin was seen, as far as I can tell from all the research and stuff I've done. Odin was more of a Old Testament god, right? He was kind and brutal. Like one hand was doing kind things, the other hand was one hand was like a hammer to build, the other hand was a hammer to destroy, right? Shiva and the other one. What's the other one?
Shiva and his wife.
There's a creator and the destroyer in Hinduism, right? Am I
Shiva
wrong?
is the destroyer.
The other one. You're welcome. We're well informed on this podcast. But Odin was like that mixed bag where like he's the all father. He's gonna take care of you in some ways, and then he's gonna, like, if you're out in the wrong time or you piss him off. A lot of ancient gods were very fucking temperamental, right? They were like they were very human in that way. Like you could like really, if you fucked with the god, like,
Yeah, but why would fucking somebody walking down the street get taken?
Because you're not supposed to be out. Because he's riding his reindeer.
I'm sorry.
Don't take him out of his joyride.
That's a little scary though too. It's a little fearful. Like, we have to be inside.
Yeah, I mean and I think
which
part of it
makes sense. I mean, maybe that's like getting your kids to bed. You have to go to sleep. Santa's coming, and he might take you. Like,
it's a thing. Like we've softened it up, but like among Christmas time, it's like, and all of the old timey Christmas stories are like, look at Charles Dickens' Scrooge, right? It's a fucked up story. It's about a grumpy guy who gets visited by 3 dead guys, right? And he changes his mind in the end. It has a happy ending, but it's very
dark.
It's
scary.
Extremely
like,
dark.
I always hated watching that. Oh, I froze. I always hated watching that, like, growing up, because I always felt like, I don't know, it just always, like, freaked me out. Like, the scene of, like, when he gets thrown in the cemetery, and
he sees his own death. Like, that is
it's scary.
That is like, as a Christmas movie, that is incredibly fucking dark. That's darker than fucking anything Nightmare Before Christmas. Like, the man saw his own death. If you had a chance, out of curiosity, would you want to go through that? Would you want to see some of your past and relive some of that past? Because in Scrooge, for the record,
yes, in a sense, the only reason why I say this, if I was going down the wrong path, and I think we all are at some point in our life where we need that healthy reminder to be like, fuck, get your shit together. You have a great life. It's not as bad as you think it is. Stop paying attention to social media and how great everybody else's life and how yours. So I think in certain aspects, we're like, oh my God, like, yeah. And hardships in my life, like losing my grandma, like that would be horrible to relive. But at the same time, I wouldn't mind going back and seeing her again.
Yeah. So the easiest. So let's take it in 3 parts, right? So the easiest is the Ghost of Christmas Past, because what that Ghost of Christmas Past does, he goes like, look, you had a fun fucking childhood, young adult. He's not gonna take you, like, the Ghost of Christmas Past is not gonna take you, but like, here's where your grandma died. Like, they're not gonna. It's gonna be all the real where the rubber hits the road is, would you go to would you want the Ghost of Christmas Present to show you what everybody's saying about you when you're not around? Would you want to open up that can of words and your friends to see how they really talk about it, or would you want to keep that can shut?
I don't know. Part of me is like, I would like to see, but then part of me is like, no.
I don't think I'd want to, because I feel like everybody talks shit on me.
Like who? Everybody
does. I'm not responsive. I'm loud. I think here, I'll put it this way. I won't say everybody's like, fuck that guy, he's like another Scrooge. I think people be like, yeah, that guy's fucking, he's like blah blah blah. It's like ribbing, like, but I don't know if I want to hear that. I'm gonna vote no on Christmas Present, because I don't want it. Like, I know that, like, because I think that, let's be real, most of us talk shit on people when they're not in the room, right? In some way, in some minor little ribbing way. And we all love, our friends and family, but we make fun of them. Like, I'm sure my brothers and my family and my friends make fun of me.
Like, it's not.
And it's the most cutting stuff. It's not the stuff that they'll say in front of your face. That's the thing. It's the stuff that they don't want to say in front of your face. Yeah. That's big.
For me, a lot of times why I don't say, because I have a big personality, but for me, a lot of times why I don't say things in front of people's faces, it's usually because I know how sensitive they are. And I know that, like, sometimes calling somebody out on something or telling them something will not change the future, and it's not going to make them change, and they're probably just going to deny it. So instead, I would, like, vent to you about it or something. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, honestly.
There's nothing wrong with that. And
it's like a waste of breath, a waste of an argument. It's just not worth it. No. So even in a situation, obviously I had earlier today, I chose to just, like, probably do the better thing, even though I wanted to, like, scream.
Yeah, you had some people doing some stuff behind your back. And in fairness to that situation, I think if they were visited by the ghost and they showed them, like, yeah, I kind of fucked up, that kind of stuff. But I think I'm a no. Are you a no are you on record as a no? Would you, as, like, knowing what people say about you behind? your back?
I think the truth will set you free.
So you would go. You would gladly go along with the ghost.
Just like going back to my situation today, I learned a lot from it because I didn't react the way that I wanted to as the old me would. Calling somebody out, like calling them a liar. You lied to me. Instead, I played stupid to see if they would in fact tell me the truth that I had documentation of, and they didn't. And I think it hurt because I thought we were closer than that. But at the same time, I'm just like, I needed to hear that. I knew it in the back of my mind. I've always known that this person was like that. And I feel like I really needed to hear it. And I'm glad. And it's funny because like usually like, you know, like when I get in arguments with my friends or stuff about like our in-laws and that kind of stuff, it always really sits with me. And I don't know, this whole situation just really set me free. It did. Do
you think that you would have trouble disassociating that? Like the fact that you knew that, so say like one of your friends, they talk some shit behind your back, right? Mm-hmm. And it hurt your feelings, right? But it wasn't like, oh, they're like kicking puppies. Could you disassociate that knowing that like, well, I heard I was a fly on the wall and maybe I shouldn't have been a fly on the wall? Could you, or would that permanently be like, I can't unhear that? Like that is something I can't.
I think like
split apart.
Being raised in an Italian household,
grudges galore.
We hold the grudges.
Would you confront them and tell them you got visited by a ghost and get laughed out of the building, or would you just be like, I know what you're up to?
I think depending on the person, like the person that I had my situation with today, like maybe because I didn't, I don't want to say I don't care about them. But I just said it.
I don't want to say they're dirt to me, but they're kind of dirt to me.
I care about them.
Sure. As you do every other human being.
Yes. But you know, there's some people that like obviously I care the most about you and our child.
Thank you. I'm glad I'm number 2 at least. I'm top 2 at least.
But I feel like with this person I can like let it go.
It's easier to let go because you're not very close to them. It'd be different if you were super close to them. Like that's a different thing. Let us know. I want to hear from our audience what you would do. One, whether you ghost the Christmas past.
We have audiences giving me very wonderful comments.
Yeah, I don't get any comments.
So
I think
I appreciate
I'm
that.
Beautiful on the inside, which should count for something. I don't know. It's a little rough on the outer edges, but there's a real diamond underneath. So
yeah, what would you guys do?
Would you vote like? I feel like past is easy, but let me know if you see an angle that like you're dumb as shit, Chris. Like visiting Ghost of Christmas Past is stupid because you can never go back and would give you. I feel like almost if I went to the Ghost of Christmas Past, they took me there, I would get depression because like you have that nostalgia factor. You're like, fuck, man, I used to be able to get up in the morning without fucking aches. Like that's.
Wait, it just sounded like you said something else. I used to be able to get it up in the morning.
I used to be able to.
That's what I heard. I'm sorry.
I used to be rock hard in the morning, guys, and now semi-soft, semi-sonic. Anybody know that band? I don't think
and
so.
I'm a very lucky woman. Let's just say that.
Nothing like a half-direct penis to make you fall in love.
Oh my God. Stop. No, I think... As scary as the situation was, I would want to go through the experience because I think it would shake me so good. I'd be a better fucking person. Because I even know today, like I know, like this nice person that just gave me this compliment and saying that I'm beautiful.
You're really focusing in on. I like that. You're focusing. You know, I'm proud of you because you know what you're doing. What? You're focusing in on the positivity of the internet because there's full of negativity. The internet is chock full of negative, and I appreciate this person for saying that. I don't know. I hope it's not in a creepy way, but hey, we'll take the compliment.
But yeah, so like, I feel like I want to be told that I'm beautiful. I want people to like, look at me. I've always been like, I like attention. It's funny because like, I like attention, but I don't like it. This is going to sound like contradictory, but I love attention, but I don't love attention. Like I'm shy. So I kind of like, that's why I dress up and stuff the way they do because you see the persona. But I do love compliments, and I do love to be made felt beautiful, which you always do.
Thank you.
And this nice person on the internet.
Again,
but
I love it focusing in on the
I
positivity.
feel like we all need, because sometimes I could be a little too vain and too into the way that I look, or not like the way that I look. And, you know, I complain to you, oh, I've gained weight, or oh, I don't look good in this. And, you know, and I think maybe that the whole concept and idea of those movies is it's a great concept. It sucks that it has to go that dark, but sometimes people need to be shook.
Oh yeah, especially Mr. Scrooge. But also too, you also have to think about the possibility of the past being not what you remember, right? You could like for instance, let's take a scenario, right?
Grown up.
Let's just take this is a horrible scenario, but say you're a kid and you're at Disneyland, and your memory, and he takes you to Disneyland where your memory is you're eating a fucking corn dog and you have a balloon and all that good shit. But behind you, because you're a kid, you never noticed it, there was someone dying, choking. And you go back to that, and you see the context of how selfish our good memories can be sometimes, and that jades your memory. So that memory is good memory is lost to you forever.
Why do you have to go there?
Possibility. You're opening up Pandora's box.
Not to sound like
Merry Christmas.
Not to sound
Happy
selfish.
holidays. I don't know what you celebrate.
But if this is supposed to be about me, why are we going about the guy choking in the back? Like,
because you noticed that for the first time. You never noticed that. And this goes to, he's just like, he's well intentioned, but he's not a details guy, right? He's not focused in on the minor things. He's not going to go in the background and check to make sure someone's not choking on a steak. We had a family member who almost choked on a steak. Shout out to you if you're listening. You know who you are. But just some, you know, or like even something a little more creepy, wholesome but very creepy. Like you have a memory of like you're opening up presents under the Christmas tree and it was so wonderful, but your uncle was wearing shorts that were too short, and his balls were hanging out. And you never noticed because you're a kid, and now all you could see when you go back is Uncle Joe's balls hanging out.
Well, then you just would be happy that.
Oh, that would make you happy? Are you on record saying you...
No, that you just knowing, okay, I know that now and this mentality, but like back then I wasn't focused in on that.
Fucking Uncle Joe. Buy longer shorts, Uncle Joe. Now, the third question is, that gets us to the third part of it. Would you go to the ghosts of the future tense or whatever the fuck they call it in Scrooge? Would you go and see your own grave out of curiosity? And see how well flowered it was, or whatever it is? You would. I don't think I can mentally handle that. I don't think I could. I think it would break me. It would absolutely break me.
Really?
Because of my unnatural obsession and fear with death, all I would see at night before I rested my head was my gravestone. That's all I would be able to see.
No, I would want to.
You'd want to? Mm-hmm. Would you want, so also too, part of your gravestone?
Because I would be like, if I die before you, this motherfucker better give me a fucking mausoleum. My fucking casket better have been pink. Better pimp my ride to heaven.
That's how we got divorced. Is that you visited the future ghost and he sent you there, and it was just like a little wooden shitty cross.
Yeah, we'd be over.
Oh my God. Really?
No.
Oh. Would you, so part of that.
No, but I think death scares me, but I don't think it definitely doesn't scare me the way that it scares you.
No. Also, too, another factor of a gravestone, right? We're thinking about gravestones, is you have Breanna born blank. I won't give up the date just for, security purposes. Died blank. Would you want to see that date at the end?
I don't know.
I don't think I would either.
That's the one. Okay, so that's the one thing, and I don't think they would tell you that. I don't.
No, they would. Again, this guy's not detail oriented. Okay. He's just like, I'm just going to show. Oh shit, she saw that date. God damn it.
I don't think I would want to, because that my biggest fear. As much as I want to be with you forever, I just don't want to I don't want to miss a thing for our child.
Aerosmith.
I don't want to. I want to know. I want her. I don't want it to be like my great grandmother. My great grandmother passed away, and so my grandma didn't have a mother. I mean, she died when she was like 5. So she didn't have like a mother figure growing up, and I can tell that it affected her.
Yeah. No, it's.
So I think that scares me.
Yeah.
Like, just I want to be able to be there for her. Like, at least for me, I think where I would feel decent would be like at least another 20 years.
And if I guess the last, this is a 4-parter, guys. I'm very fascinated by this topic. How many people would you fucking tell that you got visited by 3 ghosts? Would you fucking like call Oprah right away? The equivalent. Oprah's not doing it. Is she doing it?
I would
anything?
tell you, my mom.
That's it. Other than that, because you would be labeled.
I'd probably tell Clementine.
You'd probably be labeled insane. Whether it's true or not, people would label you insane.
I know that you wouldn't judge me. And I know my mom believes in like spirits and that kind of stuff. So I think definitely you two I could tell.
You tell you two? The band? Do you even know them?
Shut up.
Edge seems kind of judgy. I feel like Bono would be on your side, but Edge. Thank you. I wouldn't tell. I would tell you, and that's it. I would tell you because I trust you and I love you. Like, and I'd probably chalk it off to a dream. Like, check out this fucking crazy ass dream. Like, I'm a doubter. I'm doubting Thomas. Sorry. I might believe.
So you would think it was a dream? Would you just say? Like,
I'd have inclinations to believe it was more than likely a dream, but I'd be open to it. I would probably be I'd fucking cop out on it. Let's be honest, guys. I would be like, oh, I don't know. It could have been a dream. It could have been this. Who can say? I'd be that type. But I would tell you. I wouldn't tell my kid because I'd be like, I don't want to fucking freak her out because like that's not something that is comforting. Like to me. This guy, like 3 different ghosts coming, like carting you around, like, hey, look at this. Yeah. It's terrifying. Like, as much as you get out of it, as much as it might be a reward in the end, it's a fucking terrifying scene.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't tell her, and I definitely wouldn't tell anybody in the public. It would be like, mum's the word.
Would you tell your mommy?
I might write an anonymous book. Maybe I'll write an anonymous book. Because that'll go for I wouldn't tell my mom.
When it happens, of course.
I wouldn't tell my mom, because then she'd be calling me every day, like, oh, honey, did you see another ghost? Do you need me to come over and comfort you because you saw another ghost? No, I'm not going to do that. It's madness. Do you have any other Christmas funk? We already covered Krampus. Krampus is already done. We can revisit it if you want. It's still Christmas season next week when we record, so we could revisit with Krampus. But we already visited Krampus.
Was he considered in paganism, or is that kind of like the Odin, the yin and the yang, like the scary, like I'll take you? When he takes you, does he like eat you, Odin, or does he just? Where does he take you?
I don't know. Hold on. Where did Odin take?
I want to know. I'm sure other people want to know too, because it's interesting that like if you're out, he's gonna take you.
Odin.
Well, does he turn those people into elves? Are those his helpers? Do those become his like little like slave people?
I just typed in Odin killer during solstice.
You're gonna have to probably dig for it.
Dig. That's him right there. Odin on his.
Oh, you gotta put that.
He looks like he's gonna throw up. He looks like he's not comfortable with the ride.
Wow, he's got long hair.
So obviously you hear Yuletime log, or whatever Yule a lot. That's actually from paganism. So you're welcome again. Anyways, we'll find out where he took him.
Yeah, I'm fascinated.
Yeah, he would make his ride, and terrifying those who dared be out but also bringing candy and toys to children.
I don't understand. Like, see, I need to know.
Don't be fucking more. It's like the purge. It was like the purge. It was like a one-man God purge.
I would just be like, why?
But if you look at like...
But what did he do with him? He just slaughtered them? He just literally just killed them?
I think he killed them. You disappear. Unknown. I'm going to say unknown. Like wrestling from parts unknown. Unknown.
Wow.
Yeah. And if you look at fucking like the whole Santa Claus tradition has a softer version of that where like if you like kids, if you see Santa, like you're breaking the magic and he might not come back.
You have to go to sleep. You have to.
Otherwise he won't come. So you have to tuck
have to
away.
Behave.
Because when he's on his flight, if he sees you.
Was that something too? Was like you had to be good, like, or else Odin would.
I'm sure.
The wrath of
I
Odin.
am sure because the most motivating factor for most parents in Santa is the fact that it's like a reward system.
Yeah,
I would
not be surprised if Krampus is supposed to be the darker side of Odin.
Well, he's basically split into two, right?
Yeah.
He basically, once Odin metaphorically kicked the bucket, right? Mm-hmm. They had Santa come in, and Santa didn't want to do the dirty work, right? Santa likes being the nice guy. He's like the boss who has like an enforcer who like fires everybody, right?
Yeah.
He's like the Michael Scott. Mm-hmm. Santa Claus is basically Michael Scott. Probably a little more PR than Michael Scott, but probably not by much. I think Krampus did in Germanic tradition and kind of Alpine tradition and all that stuff. He did Santa's dirty work, right? Krampus was the person who got his
little evil elf,
his hands wet. Santa wasn't going to go out there and break legs, but Krampus. And Santa could be like, "Oh, I don't know him." Ho ho ho! Like, "Oh, you better be good, kids." But like Santa and Krampus are having meetings. Like they're in a conference room talking about naughty and nice lists, right? Handing over those. So, yeah, this has been an episode of ExtraNormal Podcast. My name is Christoph. Again, alongside me is Breanna.
Happy holidays, everybody!
Happy holidays. Here we are. It's right in our face, smacking us, all these pagans. So if you tell me, if you're on the streets and you want to shout at me, put Christ back in Christmas, I'll tell you put paganism back in Christmas. Wait, it's already fucking there. Anyways, get off my perch.
Stupid.
Get off your perch.
You're not even Christian or pagan, so why the fuck do you
I'm not. Why do you have to be pagan to like a Christmas tree?
That's what I'm saying. Why are you saying put pagan back in it? Like, why are you even going to fight with anybody? Because you don't even
all
care
the fun traditions.
You don't care about any of them.
I don't care. I don't care about anything. I'm a real Scrooge. I'm a Scrooge in Christianity and paganism.
I love you.
Ho, ho, ho.
Scroogey.